Part 24. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 231. The Golden Army he was so proud of was completely vulnerable to the powerful Longhan elite. How about running away now? Li Suans retreated in his heart. He still underestimated Longhan Jun. I thought that even if the Longhan army could not be defeated, delaying it for 3 days would not be a problem. But now it seems that I thought too simply. Now, as he still has a lot of gold coins, he can still prosper even if he leaves Yizhu city. The king of Longhan did not know that the person who was against him was himself. He returns to his territory now, and when Longhan annexes Yaotang, he can defect to Longhan's camp again. Until then, everything can be treated as if it didn't happen. After the idea was formed, Li Suans immediately decided to abandon these 1,000 golden troops. As long as he is still alive, what does 1,000 golden troops mean? Walk. Li Suans made a quick decision and immediately ran in one direction. In order to prevent this from happening, Li Suans bought a house in the city long ago. There is a secret passage in the house that leads to the outside of the city. Now, it's time to use the secret passage. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Li Suans. Long Jia looked at the alien lord in front of him, and Li Suans's figure also appeared in Lu Jin's field of vision. Oh! Alien lord? In this situation, other alien lords did not dare to act rashly. Only this alien lord dared to move so close to the city wall. Lu Jin knew very well that these golden troops could not be the official army of Yaotang. If they were official troops, they could not number only about 1,000 people, and their strength could not be so weak. Then, based on these conditions, it can be inferred that these golden armies are most likely the work of the alien lord. The alien lord of the golden army did not show up, indicating that he was most likely hiding somewhere where he could observe the situation on the city wall. After an investigation, Lu Jin finally targeted Li Suans. The other foreign lords, who were afraid of Longhan, had long been hiding deep in the city. Those who were not afraid of Longhan also followed the soldiers to climb the city wall. The only foreign lord hiding near the city wall was Li Suans. Li Suans couldn't help but swallowed when he looked at the dragon armor in front of him. The next second, Li Suans suddenly fell to his knees on the ground. "General, spare your life, I am just a merchant in the city. Seeing the chaos in the city today, I was wondering if I could get some bargains here. The little one is willing to dedicate all his harvest to the adults, and please let the adults spare him." With that said, Li Suans took out 100,000 gold coins. The golden gold coins piled directly on the ground, looking very dazzling. If an ordinary person sees so many gold coins, he will definitely feel greedy and pocket these gold coins first. But what Li Suans encountered was Lu Jin, and what he encountered was the dragon armor controlled by Lu Jin. Dragon armor is a puppet and has no greed. Lu Jin already had huge wealth, and 100,000 gold coins was just a drop in the bucket to him, so how could he possibly impress Lu Jin? Lu Jin chuckled, raised his hand, and dragon armor took action boldly. Kill. It is better to kill by mistake than to let go. No matter how Li Suans begged for mercy, Lu Jin never let him go. Just after Li Suans was killed by Lu Jin, those golden soldiers indeed lost their immortality. Without the immortal body, the Golden Army's strength is basically the same as that of the city defenders. All of a sudden, there were more and more Longhan elites on the city wall. A large number of Longhan elites scaled the city wall, and the city wall defense line completely collapsed. Seeing this, Lu Jin no longer focused on the city wall. The first batch of Longhan elites entered the city, and they went straight to the city lord's palace, bound to capture the city lord of Yizhu city. Just like this, in less than an hour, the entire Yizhu city fell completely. Lu Jin directly set up a teleportation altar in Yizhu city. Next, Lu Jin began to build the entire Yizhu city into a stronghold. They invaded Yaotang's stronghold. On the other side, in Chang'an city of the Demon Tang dynasty, battle reports from all directions poured into the court like snowflakes. Report. 3 cities in the north have fallen, and the Long Han army has penetrated deep into the hinterland, occupying half of the uninhabited land. Report. 4 cities in the east have fallen, and the Long Han army has taken over the cities. Report. Yizhu city has fallen. Long Han elites have settled in Yizhu city, and people in Chang'an city are panicking. Long Han launched a massive invasion, and 1/10 of our Demon Tang territory has fallen into the hands of the thieves. Please give your majesty's order for me to lead my troops to reclaim the lost territory. Military General Su Dingfang took a step forward, his eyes stern. All other generals clenched their fists. If it wasn't a demonic disaster, how could they shrink the border and leave a large area of uninhabited land, thus giving Long Han an advantage in vain? The generals were angry and the civil servants looked gloomy. The entire court fell into an extremely heavy state. As the king of the Demon Tang dynasty, he was sitting on the dragon throne. Not only was there no anger on his face, but he looked at the civil and military officials on the stage with a mysterious smile. What do you mean? Are you complaining that I lost my land and suffered for the people? Are you complaining that I avoided fighting and acted cowardly? As soon as these words came out, all the civil and military officials were shocked and quickly knelt on the ground. I will admit my guilt. At this moment, they realized that they were the old ministers of the old Demon Tang. They have seen what the monarch of Tang dynasty is capable of. If he is an incompetent person, how can he sit in this position? The Demon King of Tang dynasty stood up, his eyes were cold and his hands were behind his back. Most of the people in the no man's land have been devoured by monsters. Even if they are recovered, it will take a lot of manpower and material resources. If Long Han wants it, then give it to them. They want to eliminate evil spirits and replenish the population. Isn't this delaying Long Han's vitality? Besides, the Lord of Long Han is so arrogant that he actually divided his troops into 4 groups and annexed our land from the east, west, north, south, and west of Tang dynasty at the same time. You stupid boy, do you really think that he is the only one around me, Demon Tang? As soon as these words came out, several civil servants suddenly raised their heads. They immediately understood what the monarch of Demon Tang dynasty meant. Yes. Yaotang is surrounded by more than one Long Han. Chang Sunwuji was the first to stand up, and he asked the monarch of Demon Tang in a tentative tone. Your Majesty, have you already contacted other dynasties? Other dynasties? No matter how stupid those generals are, they understand now. In addition to Long Han, the border of Yaotang is also bordered by a boss-level dynasty. Immortal Qin. Among all the dynasties, Xian Qin's strength is something even Demon Tang has to fear. Over the years, Demon Tang and Xian Qin have exchanged ideas. The border was guarded by the Xian Qin troops, and they did not dare to complain at all. The king of Xian Qin is not a century-old lord, but he is more terrifying than a century-old lord. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 232. I have written to the kings of the other 3 dynasties to cede the 3 uninhabited lands to the other 3 dynasties. I don't believe that such conditions will not impress those 3 monarchs. As long as they are willing to send troops, they will definitely face off against Long Han's army. This is a plan to drive away wolves and devoured tigers. Lure all the other 3 dynasties to the realm of Demon Tang. Borrow their power to fight against Long Han. And Long Han now occupies most of the uninhabited land, and it is bound to conflict with the other 3 dynasties. I will sit in Chang'an and gather the effective forces. When Long Han is weak, he can take the opportunity to capture Long Han's land. As for other lands, what if they were given to the other 3 dynasties? Long Han's territory is much larger than that of Yao Tangdu, so he doesn't lose money. After hearing the plan of the Demon King of Tang Dynasty, the eyes of all the civil and military officials suddenly lit up. This kind of strategy to drive away wolves and swallow tigers is really a wonderful idea. Sacrificing a small amount of land can severely damage Longhan or even annex Longhan. This kind of strategy is something we never expected. But, can the dynasties around us really compete with Longhan? We have seen Longhan's strength before, and there are even powerful gods and human beings sitting in his midst. Such a powerful dynasty is rare in this life. Ha ha ha, I don't know about Wu Ming and Dao Song, but Xian Qin is enough. Immortal Qin. Mentioning these two words, even the Demon King of Tang Dynasty couldn't help but trembled. He could never forget the horror that Xian Qin had brought to him. No. It should be said that Xian Qin is the inner shadow of all century-old lords. As a well-deserved boss-level dynasty, Xian Qin's status in Longxia is just like Longxia's status in other countries around the world. The only thing that can delay the development of Xian Qin is internal worries. The so-called foreign troubles, in Xian Qin's eyes, are nothing more than mosquito bites. In the Xianyang Palace of Immortal Qin, a middle-aged man was almost lying on the dragon chair. The black dragon robe on his body was messy. He just sat there. Although he was an emperor, he lacked the majesty of an emperor. However, even though he was so idle, the civil and military officials only looked at him with awe, incomparable awe. It is really because of his existence that the entire Xian Qin can become one of the most powerful dynasties in Longxia. Other dynasties were trembling with fear just hearing the name of Xian Qin. This is all thanks to the one on the dragon throne. One emperor through the ages, Qin Shi Huang, Yingzheng. A letter from the alien child of Yaotang. As Yingzheng waved his hand, the letter appeared in his hand as if by magic. He played with the letter, and when he saw the content on the letter, he couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. Disdain, contempt, more of a disdain. Does he really think that I know nothing about it? The world is in chaos due to monsters, and hundreds of miles of land have turned into a deserted land. With these few pieces of uninhabited land, you want me to send troops to help him deal with that Longhan? It's ridiculous. As Yingzheng waved his hand, the letter turned into ashes and disappeared. Seeing this, the generals who originally wanted to lead troops to Yaotang to establish military exploits all put away their thoughts. But at this moment, Yingzheng spoke again. However, I am very interested in this Longhan. 100 years ago, I single-handedly suppressed those century-old lords, and now a group of alien lords have emerged. It seems that these alien lords are even stronger than the alien lords 100 years ago. Interesting, interesting, the world is changing so fast. Where is Meng Tian? As soon as he finished speaking, Meng Tian stood up from the queue of generals. I'm here. I order you to lead 10,000 Iron Eagle warriors and 50,000 Great Qin infantry to go to Yaotang immediately. 10,000 Iron Eagle warriors? Meng Tian was a little surprised. These Iron Eagle warriors were all top-notch masters. In his eyes, to suppress the troops of a foreign dynasty, why use the Iron Eagle warriors? Give him 10,000 infantry, and he can kill the opponent without leaving any trace behind. Thinking of this, Meng Tian bravely looked at Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. Your Majesty, the opponent is just a new alien lord, why use the Iron Eagle warriors? Give me 10,000 infantry, and I will kill them all without leaving any trace. Your Majesty is really getting stronger and stronger now. My Xian Qin is powerful, I know it, but that doesn't mean you can look down on any enemy. After Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng came down from the court, he did not return directly to the palace. Kill without mercy. After all the civil and military officials came to court, they couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. They quickly knelt on the ground, their bodies trembling uncontrollably. General Meng Tian may have forgotten the battle with Xiao Xia. If I hadn't taken action, you would be dead and in a different place now. The next second, Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng raised his hand, and a luminous cube flew out from Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng's hand and floated in front of Meng Tian. Because they all know that Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng will do what he says. For 100 years, in order to seek immortality, I have never started a war with other countries around me. But thinking of what had just happened, Meng Tian quickly caught the cube. As soon as these three words came out, all the civil and military officials felt a chill in their backs. Suddenly, Yingzheng put away his pressure. No matter how powerful the century-old lord is, he is still suppressed by their immortal Qin and dare not say a word. Other civil and military officials thought the same way. Looking at the cube in front of him, Meng Tian wanted to say something else. Your Majesty, are you going to the alien prison? What qualifications does a newly promoted alien lord have to allow Xian Qin to use elite troops like the Iron Eagle ruins? After so many years of idleness, when did you become so arrogant? The Stranger Prison, as the name suggests, is the place where Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng imprisoned the strange lord. Zhao Gao, who was standing next to him, immediately understood what Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng was thinking and said quickly. Meng Tian's eyes widened and his whole body trembled. The huge pressure was like a mountain sitting on him. The terrifying pressure comparable to that of a god fell directly on Meng Tian. I will definitely live up to His Majesty's expectations. A lion still needs all his strength to fight a rabbit. If I hear such remarks again. Meng Tian only felt a lightness on his body, but his back was already soaked with cold sweat. Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng didn't say anything, which was his acquiescence. The bones all over his body were creaking, but Meng Tian didn't even dare to use the energy in his body to resist. He just silently endured the huge pressure from Yingzheng. His Majesty. Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng stood up and left without paying any attention to the officials. Today, Xian Qin has countless powerful soldiers and generals, and his national power is even more terrifying. Zhao Gao understood immediately and immediately took Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng to the Iron Heavenly Prison. Ever since His Majesty obtained the method of immortality from the alien lord 100 years ago, Xian Qin, which had already started to decline, has reversed course. Back off. But at this moment, the entire Xianyang Palace was suddenly enveloped by a huge pressure. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 233. Dark, damp, rats crossing the border, poisonous insects running rampant. In such a harsh environment, many alien lords were imprisoned here. Most of their eyes were dull, and their eyes had long lost their former luster. The alien prison is more strict than the ordinary prison. The number of guards is 10 times that of an ordinary prison. The guard captains, without exception, are all first-level masters. The prison is made of metal. All alien lords who have escaped from prison are directly imprisoned in a coffin made of metal, and are only given liquid food every day to preserve their lives. This is the alien prison. When Yingzheng appeared here, the foreign lords in the prison couldn't help but look at him. But just looking at him, these alien lords would have cursed before. But now, they don't even have the strength to curse. Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng looked at the foreign lord in the heavenly prison, with a trace of amusement flashing in his eyes. I know that you alien lords have your own way of contacting each other. So, now I want to know the information about Long Han. If anyone is willing to tell me information about Long Han, I might let you go. As soon as these words came out, the alien lords in the prison couldn't help but their eyes lit up. Do they still have a chance to regain their freedom? The lords of Xian Qin were immediately counted by Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng as soon as they arrived. Before they even had time to develop, they were directly captured by Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng's men and captured in this prison. In this heavenly prison, although Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen did not kill them directly, the life they lived was still worse than death. How could they not be excited when they heard that they had a chance to escape from the prison? At this moment, a voice came from the prison. Ha ha ha, you idiots, do you really think he will let you go? The fact that he can lock us up here shows that they are afraid of us. You are afraid, Qin Shi Huang, the Emperor of the Ages, will also be afraid, afraid that we will overthrow your immortal Qin. Long Han is our hope. Sooner or later, our Lord's cavalry will overthrow you, Xian Qin, and trample your throne under their feet. You have imprisoned the lords of Xian Qin, but you can't imprison the lords of Long Han, the lords of Wuming, and the lords of other regions. In the metal coffin, an alien lord seemed to have gone crazy, laughing wildly. Hearing these words, Zhao Gao couldn't help but yell angrily. Bold, it is your honor for your majesty to ask you something. You outsiders, do you really think you can do anything? At this time, Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen glanced at the metal coffin and then asked the jailer. Who is this person? Reporting to your majesty, this person's name is Huang Laoniu, and his territory is in the Basha region, near Hefeng town. Very well, kill him and destroy his territory. My subordinate understands. In a few words, Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen decided the fate of an alien lord. The metal coffin was pulled out by the jailer, and the alien lord's voice continued to echo in the sky prison. Tyrant! You must die a good death. On the road to Huangquan, I'll wait for you. The voice finally disappeared, and Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen looked at the alien lords with indifferent eyes. Tell me the information and survive, otherwise his fate will be your fate. As soon as these words came out, a few weaklings immediately told them all the news they had obtained. But after listening to their information, Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen couldn't help but frown slightly. What are these things? Long Han was a dynasty founded by an alien lord named Lu Jin. Long Han annexed Manhu. Long Han is now waging war against Yao Tang. He already knew this information, so why did he come here to question these alien lords? Apparently, this guy Lu Jin had expected this. So he has restrained all the lords in Long Han so that these lords will not reveal the news about Long Han easily. Sure enough, a foreign lord who can single-handedly establish a dynasty must not be a fuel-efficient lamp. I will give you time. During this period, if anyone can provide information about Long Han, I can allow the jailer to improve your food. Come here, those alien lords who just provided information, please give them a clean cell in the next few days, with better food. As soon as the jailer received the order, the environment of those weaklings was immediately changed. The other alien lords were also jealous when they saw this scene. They immediately came to the chat channel and wanted to ask for various information about Long Han. In Long Han territory, Bei Mingxiu couldn't help but narrow her eyes slightly as she looked at the various words in the chat channel. So many foreign lords suddenly appeared in Xianqin to inquire about Long Han. It seems that Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen has started to take action. I never thought that the lords of Xianqin would be so miserable. They were all thrown into the sky prison. It can only be said that Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen is indeed the emperor of the ages. For other dynasties, they are still at the end of their game. They cannot take into account the appearance of alien lords and do not want to interfere too much. But the immortal Qin, under the leadership of Qin Shi Huang Yingzhen, is still monolithic. How can it tolerate alien lords wreaking havoc in their territory? Yu Fengxiu and others sighed for a while. Fortunately, they were born in the Divine Han dynasty, and now they can be regarded as the ministers of the Long Han dynasty. They enjoyed a good life in Long Han, and Lu Jin even gave them a lot of fiefdoms. I have my own territory and a fiefdom. Wouldn't it be nice to be a free prince? They are not needed when going out to fight, they only need to ensure the internal stability of Long Han. The work is easy and the pay is good. This is no longer an iron rice bowl, but a golden rice bowl. Therefore, anyone could betray Lu Jin. Only these lords won't. Bei Mingxiu was the first to speak. Everyone, Mr. Lu Jin is surrounded by enemies on all sides now. Although we cannot compete with those dynasties, we should at least give Mr. Lu Jin some help. Next, I will send you a private message. All you have to do is post the message in the chat channel according to the content of the private message. Soon, many alien lords received the news. When they saw the content of the private message, they all had weird smiles on their faces. Yu Fengxiu even smiled and said, "Okay, thanks to you Bei Mingxiu, just follow the private message." In the chat channel, those Xianqin lords were still wondering. Why can't we find out any information about Long Han? If this continues, won't they be killed by Qin Shi Wang Yingzheng? But now they are penniless and cannot use material bribes to instigate other alien lords to rebel. Is it just a matter of words? But just when they were helpless, a glimmer of hope appeared. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 234. Long Han Chen Hainiu, sorry, I just fainted from exhaustion and saw your news. Wu Ming Wang Zia He, tired, as a foreign dynasty, Long Han, you foreign lords should have preferential treatment. Xiu Xiaozhang He, yes, you, Long Han, are the only one in the strange dynasty. We don't know how many looks we have received here. Long Han Bei Mingxiu, where is the best? Lu Jin only cares about himself and never cares about our life or death. We have to provide a lot of resources to support his troops every day. Support. The alien lords in the sky prison immediately smelled something strange. The alien lord of Long Han actually wants to hand over resources to support Lu Jin's troops. But according to rumors, isn't Long Han rich in resources and can be called a paradise? Their troops also need other alien lords to support them. At this time, Yu Fengxiu also saw that the time was ripe and jumped out directly. Long Han Yu Fengxiu, let me tell you clearly, the reason why Lu Jin's army is so strong is because of our alien lord. Long Han Yu Fengxiu, without our support, how could he maintain such a strong army? Xiu Xiaozhang He, this is a public channel, aren't you afraid that Lu Jin will see it? Long Han Bei Mingxiu, so what if I see it? We exploit a large amount of resources every day to support his huge Long Han dynasty. Are we not allowed to complain? Long Han Chen Hainiu, okay, this is a public channel after all, so don't say a few words. Originally, the alien lords were still a little doubtful. But Chen Hainiu's words undoubtedly put the finishing touch on this lie. The foreign lords in the immortal Qin heavenly prison began to get excited. If these Long Han lords continue to criticize Lu Jin unscrupulously, they may become suspicious. But now, when Chen Hainiu said something, many Long Han lords seemed to know something and immediately stopped talking. This performance made them even more convinced. The situation of these Long Han lords is not much better than theirs. Although there are still many doubts about this information, is this important? The task of judging the authenticity of the intelligence should be the job of Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng. All they have to do is hand over the information they have obtained. For a moment, the entire alien prison began to howl like ghosts and wolves. Your Majesty, I have important information to report. Hurry and report to Your Majesty that I have important information about Long Han. Their information is not important. My information is the most important. It is related to the rise and fall of Xianqin. Go and report it to Your Majesty. What do you mean? We are born from the same roots, so why rush? If you fry your grandma's legs, I won't be able to survive, and you won't be able to survive either. The jailers had already expected this situation. I saw them taking their time and handing out one piece of letter paper after another. Write the information you know on it and we will pass it on to His Majesty the First Emperor. When the time comes, if the information is true, it will be of great benefit to you. For a time, many alien lords quickly began to write information, fearing that they would be one step behind. The intelligence was collected and finally presented to the desk of First Emperor Yingzheng. The First Emperor Yingzheng looked at the information paper in front of him. He took his time and read all the information. After reading it, the First Emperor Yingzheng began to summarize. But as he concluded, his face became more and more ugly. Long Han, this alien dynasty actually relied on the resources of other alien lords to support it? The foreign lord who was able to single-handedly establish the foreign dynasty was a heroic figure among the First Emperor Yingzheng. But if so, did he really not think of such disadvantages? The alien lord is too forward-thinking to be educated like those stupid people. If they have ulterior motives, wouldn't it become their own Achilles' heel? But quickly, the First Emperor Yingzheng overturned his doubts. The Long Han dynasty is a new dynasty after all. Unlike other dynasties, it needs to grow, and it needs to grow more quickly. The biggest advantage of the alien lord is his rapid development. If a dynasty is quickly built based on the alien lord, then the method used by Lu Jin is actually the best method. The First Emperor Yingzheng kept analyzing Lu Jin, and he suddenly discovered that it was indeed a good plan for Long Han to rely on the alien lord. A new dynasty needs fresh blood, and the alien lord is the fresh blood, and a more active new blood. So what the Long Han dynasty did was not wrong. However, Xian Qin has become monolithic, and any fresh blood from outside will destroy the stability of Xian Qin. Therefore, for Xian Qin, the alien lord is harmful. Thinking of this, the First Emperor Yingzheng laughed loudly. The great hero of the generation, Emperor Long Yuan, Lu Jin. I recognize you, you are a respectable opponent. I haven't seen such a hero in many years. I hope you won't bore me too much. At the same time, Lu Jin in Demon Tanya's city couldn't help but sneeze. Lu Jin touched his nose, feeling a little confused. He is now in the demigod state, blessed by the Supreme Godhead, and his physical fitness is already at the level of a god. At this level, he can still sneeze. It's really weird. But before Lu Jin could think about it carefully, a battle report fell in front of Lu Jin. Report: there is a battle report from the Northern Army. The northern border is occupied by the Wuoming Army. The Wuoming Army has occupied the border and is attacking towards the territory of Yaotang. Wuoming's army? When Lu Jin heard the battle report, a hint of surprise flashed across his face. He had expected it, but he didn't expect that the first troops to come to Yaotang territory turned out to be Wuoming's troops. Wuoming dynasty: this dynasty is considered to be among the best among all the Longxia dynasties. If nothing else, the ethos of the Wuoming dynasty was to respect martial arts. Among the hundreds of civil and military officials, 90% of them are military generals. But this does not mean that Wuoming generals are all warriors. On the contrary, Wuoming's military generals have read poetry and books since childhood, are rich in knowledge, and are both civil and military. It can be said that every military general is a civil servant, and all civil servants are military generals. The corners of Lu Jin's mouth raised slightly and he looked at the black guard who had sent the information. Who is coming from Wuoming? My subordinates don't know. I only know that Wuoming's main flag is bright and the general's flag is blue. Blue. A name suddenly appeared in Lu Jin's mind. Sapphire. Unexpectedly, it was this general who led his troops. It seems that Long Han is quite important in Wuoming's eyes. Throughout the history of Longxia, a total of 5 people have won the honor of sealing the wolf and living in Su. Among these 5 people, Ming dynasty alone occupies 2. One of the 2 is Lan Yu. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 235. I just don't know how strong this Wuoming Lan Yu is. Looking at the information in front of him, Lu Jin felt even more that his current number of god puppets was still too few. If I had more godly puppets, wouldn't I be able to personally monitor all parties? On the northern battlefield, Mo and Yaodaji took 10,000 demon cavalry and directly occupied a city. After occupying the city, the two confiscated most of the food and grass in the city. After that, 50,000 infantry were recruited from the prisoners as the vanguard. The so-called vanguard army is nothing more than cannon fodder. These cannon fodder can block the enemy on the battlefield and provide opportunities for the demon cavalry to charge. As for the rations of these cannon fodder, they can be obtained directly from the occupied cities. Fight to feed war. This is the strategy of the Northern Army led by Mo and Yaodaji. At this moment, Mo and Yaodaji were sitting in the city lord's mansion, watching the information passed by their subordinates. This Wu Ming army is very arrogant. In just a few days, they captured 3 of our cities. If he continues to let it go, he may be able to attack the city in 3 days. Malabuladin looked at the battle report in his hand and couldn't help but snorted. Wu Ming's appearance was unexpected. Even before entering the Demon Tang dynasty, Lu Jin repeatedly warned the generals. In this battle, they are not only dealing with Yaotang, but also the 3 dynasties bordering Yaotang: Wu Ming, Dao Song, Xian Qin. The strength of these 3 dynasties is more powerful than that of Yaotang. Therefore, they must always be prepared to fight the armies of these 3 dynasties. Now, the Northern Army encountered Wu Ming's army. Fortunately, they strictly followed Lu Jin's warning, and most of the people left in the city were members of the vanguard army, that is, cannon fodder. The food and grass in the city had been taken away by them a long time ago. Even if Wu Ming's army captured the city, they wouldn't be able to get much. On the contrary, those cannon fodder might even be able to delay their progress. Military advisor, how should we respond? Facing these numerous battle reports, Malabuladin felt overwhelmed just by taking a glance at them. He now wished he could just pick up his Fang Tian Huaji, lead his troops to charge out, and kill Wu Ming Lanyu directly. In this way, wouldn't there be no worries at all? The Xianming fan in Yaodaji's hand shook slightly, and her eyes scanned over the numerous pieces of information. After scanning, Yaodaji integrated all the information and began to deduce. For a long time, Yaoda thought of something and narrowed her beautiful eyes. Don't act rashly. Let's not talk about how many troops Wu Ming sent. The fact that there is only one general leading the troops is enough to explain the problem. Either Wu Ming underestimated us, Long Han, and didn't even bother to send more generals. Otherwise, this general is so strong that King Wu Ming feels that sending other generals to accompany him is unnecessary. Then, we can boldly speculate whether this person will be a powerful person in the divine realm. Divine realm. As soon as these 3 words came out, Mo Lubu's originally restless heart suddenly calmed down. If they were in the immortal realm or even the demigod realm, he could compete with them. But a master of the divine realm. He really wasn't sure whether he could defeat the opponent easily. At this time, a black guard appeared in the camp. 2 generals, Your Majesty's letter. Seeing the letter in black guard's hand, the 2 quickly took it. Yaodaji opened the letter and read the contents word for word. When she read it, her eyes lit up. I see. Seal the wolf to live in blue jade. If anything, Yaodaji had previously suspected that this Lanyu was a powerful person in the realm of gods and humans. Then, after seeing Lu Jin's letter, he was almost certain that this Lanyu must be a powerful person in the divine realm. Fenglang Jugzhu, such a great reputation, so what should we do next? Take the initiative, or fight according to the city. Mo Lubu and Yaodaji have been partners for a long time, and they can be regarded as the founding courtiers of Long Han. In the entire Long Han, apart from Lu Jin, there was nothing Mo Lubuladin listened to more than Yaodaji's words. Yaodaji just thought for a moment and then immediately gave the answer. Defensive battle. If I go out of the city to greet you, I only have a 50% chance of winning. If we defend and fight in the city, I have a 90% chance of winning. Both of them are in the immortal realm, but now Yao Daji can say the words that there is a 90% chance of winning against the gods. Others may not believe it, but Emolu Buledin nodded, believing in Yao Daji's words. In this way, the northern army huddled in the city and did not move for a long time. Another demon cavalryman drew his bow and set an arrow, his true energy concentrated in the arrows, his eyes were fierce. Whoosh! Die! Elite soldiers! Lan Yu nodded and said nothing. Cut! Lan Yu looked at the defenders on the city wall. The defenders were wearing black armor and had an awe-inspiring aura. When the general saw this, he couldn't hide the joy on his face. Draw your bow and knock an arrow, aim at the main flag. His eyes were so fierce that it felt like his eyes were burning when he looked at her. But at this moment, the demon cavalry on both sides of the main flag looked sternly. One of the demon cavalry stepped directly out of the city wall, and his true energy gathered in the weapon. This. At this moment, a general under Lan Yu stood up. Whoosh! Such ruthless tactics made other generals stare wide-eyed. The two flags on both sides of the main flag form a guard. He only knew that if he shot down the main flag of Long Han today, it would be a great achievement. General, can you let me fire the first arrow before the battle? The demon cavalry stepped into the air and turned over to return to the city wall. What a shame, pull his body down. It's not the general's flag, it must be the main flag that symbolizes Long Han's sovereignty. The arrow flew directly towards the main flag. Looking at the corpse on the ground, Lan Yu snorted coldly. The next second, the arrow directly penetrated the general's head. The general fell straight from his horse and fell to the ground without breathing. These defenders are the best among the best. The cold arrows pierced the air, carrying the force of breaking through the sky. Just like this, Wu Ming's army came to the city. The general held a long bow and his eyes fell on the main flag on the city wall. But the army on Wu Ming's side marched straight in, singing loudly all the way. On the city wall, Long Han's flag fluttered in the wind. It seems that this city will be the biggest obstacle to them taking over the uninhabited land of Yaotang. Those cannon fodder in the middle were as fragile as paper in front of Wu Mingjun. The general had not yet realized that the city in front of him was different from all the cities they had attacked before. With one blow, the arrow exploded in the air. The arrows shot out, leaving only an afterimage in the air. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 236. Seeing the corpse of his commander being pulled down, Lan Yu looked at the many generals behind him. I originally thought of giving the opponent a start before the battle. As a result, before this powerful move could be accomplished, a general on his side was killed. For a time, morale dropped drastically. Lan Yu must find a way to get his morale back. Morale is something that cannot be seen or touched. But it can affect the outcome of the entire war. Thinking of this, Lan Yu took a step forward and walked directly into the range of the archer. Seeing this, many generals behind him quickly stopped him. General, you have come within the opponent's shooting range, get back quickly. General, the enemy's archery skills are fierce, how can you put yourself in danger? General, come back quickly. Facing the words of many generals, Lan Yu seemed not to have heard them. He walked straight forward and took a few more steps, standing proudly between heaven and earth like a god of war. I am Lan Yu, Marquis of Yongchang of Wuming Dynasty. Can the generals in the city tell me their names? I, Lan Yu, conquered several cities and never killed unknown people. Give me a name so I know who I want to kill next. This statement is extremely arrogant. The demon cavalry on the city wall couldn't help but clench their fists. The demon cavalry guarding the general's flag had even colder eyes, and the longbow in his hand could not help but catch the arrow. Seeing the small movements of the defenders, Lan Yu chuckled in her heart. Very good. As long as the other party shoots arrows at you, you can repeat your old tricks and treat them the same way. Since then, morale has greatly increased, and it can also weaken the enemy's morale. The ideal is beautiful, but a voice on the city wall suddenly sounded like a refreshing breeze in the minds of many defenders. Calm. With a whisper, the inner anger of many defenders was extinguished by a drizzle of rain. The demon cavalry instantly realized that they had almost been hit by the opponent's aggressive technique. After calming down, the demon cavalry no longer had the previous impulse. Against generals, soldiers against soldiers. I am just a soldier, and it is not the soldiers like them who should respond to such a provocative letter of challenge. General Long Han, Demon General Lu Buletin is here. Boom. With a loud noise, the black shadow fell like a meteor. The huge shockwave made Wu Ming's army tremble. After the smoke and dust dispersed, Mo Libu strolled up to Lan Yu. The square-shaped painted halberd in his hand emits a chilling cold light. Lan Yu looked Mo Buletin up and down, and then a look of greed appeared in his eyes. Nice one. Without exception, all of Mo Buletin's weapons and equipment were magical weapons crafted by Lu Jin using precious materials and entrusted to Ouyuzi. Every magical weapon is tailor-made for Buletin and can exert 200% of its power. No wonder Lan Yu is so greedy. But Lan Yu expressed disdain for Buletin himself. A mere immortal realm general, are you worthy of competing with me? Arrogant. Lan Yu's words can be described as extremely arrogant. Even Buletin couldn't help but feel his veins bulging after hearing this. In the period when he first joined Lu Jin's command, if someone dared to be so arrogant in front of him, he would definitely split that person into 8 pieces. But now, Mo Libu has grown up. He restrained his temper and became more like a calm military commander. Faced with Lan Yu's provocation, although he was angry, he did not show it. General Lu Buletin remained unmoved, his blue jade eyes narrowed slightly. He originally wanted to provoke the other party to make the first move, so as to find a loophole and defeat him. But now it seems that the other party is more tolerant than he imagined. In this case, there is no nonsense, Lan Yu directly releases his true energy pressure. Boom. The infuriating pressure of the god-human realm hit Buletin directly like a wave. You should be scared now. But the next second, Lan Yu saw Mo Buletin's expression. The expression seemed to be one of relief. Relieved? What's the situation? If you, an immortal, meet me in the divine realm, shouldn't you look stern and be ready? Why are you more relaxed now than before? At this moment, a faint sound came from the city wall. It turned out to be just a god-human realm. I thought he was a powerful man in the god-human realm with the blessing of divine power. Since we are not the holders of the divine head, there is no need for us to ask for support from His Majesty. Today, let's kill him here. Yao Daji holds a Xianming fan and hangs it on the city wall. After hearing these words, Lan Yu was so angry that she killed him here? Why? How could 2 immortals be so arrogant? What a joke. I thought Long Han's military generals were somewhat capable, but now it seems they are just sitting in a well and watching the sky. A mere immortal realm wants to kill me, a divine realm. Arrogant. Extremely arrogant. Let me let you know the difference between the immortal realm and the divine realm. Magic. It also has a hint of Dao Song's literary spirit. As soon as the blow fell, Lan Yu's eyes were quick and his hands were quick, and he quickly pulled out the blade in his hand. Why, this Long Han general actually has the power of qi and blood. The attack falls. What a terrifying force. Wrong. Mo Buletin has the martial arts body refining bonus, and Yao Daji has the Dao and Song Wenru bonus. Why can a person in the immortal realm be able to shake himself? Continuous raindrops fell, and the drizzle continued. The black magic energy and the red blood energy blended together. Is this rain a trick of that counselor? At this moment, Lan Yu felt that she had miscalculated. Rain. Following a crisp sound, Lan Yu felt her hands go numb. As military commanders and advisors, the two of them have taken advantage of this to the extreme. Morabulin sneered and quickly distanced himself. Why do you know Wu Ming's body training secrets? The power of blood. On the city wall, Yao Daji was holding a Xianming fan, and the true energy on her body was like steam, continuously getting into the clouds. Before she finished speaking, Lan Yu's eyes suddenly widened. Amolubuletin's figure came to him in an instant. But the next second, he immediately noticed something was wrong. Cut. At this moment, Lan Yu noticed something was wrong. Faced with Lan Yu's question, Marbuletin only responded with a more violent attack. He underestimated the two people in front of him. This is not right. But is it just changing the weather? At this moment, Lan Yu suddenly felt a hint of coldness. After pulling away, wisps of black demonic energy began to emerge from Malubu's body. Lan Yu looked up at the sky. She didn't know when the sky was covered with dark clouds. Not only that, a trace of coldness penetrated into his bones like a poisonous snake. Lan Yu suddenly became furious and dared to ignore him. The speed of my own infuriating energy has dropped by 30%. Although it was secretive, Lan Yu still saw the clues. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 237. The drizzle continued, and the cold drizzle was like deadly poison, corroding Lan Yu's body. Lan Yu took a deep breath, and the next second, his eyes became very sharp. The violent infuriating energy mixed with the powerful force of qi and blood burst out from his body. At this moment, Lan Yu's body began to expand crazily like a balloon. In the blink of an eye, the armor shattered, Lan Yu's body swelled to 3 meters high, and the protective muscles surged. His blade was originally a long sword, but with such a huge figure, no matter how long a long sword was, it would become a short sword. But Lan Yu didn't care, he just focused on Amolubuletin. Wu Ming physical skills, Dao Song magic, gathering the best of all dynasties. I admit, I underestimated you before. Now, I'm going to get serious. Brush. The next second, Lan Yu suddenly appeared in front of Amolubuletin. Cut. The blade in his hand slashed directly. Amolubuletin immediately picked up Fang Tian's painted halberd to resist. When? With a crisp sound, the short knife in Lan Yu's hand broke directly. Malubuletin's eyes widened and veins popped out in his hands. Even he felt a burst of pressure from that blow. Legs trembling slightly. Although nothing could be seen on the surface, the huge force really fell on Malubuletin like a meteorite falling from the sky. Seeing that Malubuletin remained unmoved, his blue jade eyes narrowed slightly. In that blow just now, he had already used 100% of his strength. Logically speaking, even if Malubuletin is immortal, he should still be seriously injured. But looking at it now, Malubuletin seems to be fine. Is it because you have practiced Wu Ming's body training secrets that your physical fitness has improved a lot? If this is the case, I am afraid that it will take the power of qi and blood to cause harm to it. When Amolubuletin saw this, he immediately understood what Lan Yu was thinking. Without giving Lan Yu the slightest chance, Malubuletin quickly retreated to distance himself. Seeing this, Lan Yu stepped on her foot, and instantly 2 footprints appeared on the spot. But at this moment, the drizzle in the sky turned into chains, directly imprisoning Sapphire in place. The cold rain turned into chains, constantly extracting the true energy from Lan Yu's body. Lan Yu looked at Yao Daji on the city wall. Break. For a moment, the power of qi and blood surged. The power of blood-red energy and blood evaporated all the rain chains like fire. When the demon lady on the city wall saw this, she couldn't help but secretly thought to herself, "He is worthy of being a powerful person in the realm of gods and humans." Your own rain curtain, even if it is contaminated by a strong person in the immortal realm, still needs to be eroded by the cold rain. But looking at the sapphire, it doesn't seem to be eroded at all. At this time, cold rain fell on Amolubuletin. Unlike Lan Yu, Yao Daji's cold rain is actually a bonus for Amolubuletin. The raindrops turned into true energy and entered his body, repairing Amolubuletin's injuries and replenishing the deficit in his body. Molubuletin frowned slightly as he looked at the blue jade coming towards him. It's not okay to continue like this. It must be resolved quickly. The longer it takes, the worse it will be for them. Thinking of this, Amolubu mobilized his true energy, and all the true energy was poured into Fang Tian's painted halberd. Cut! As soon as the blow was swung out, instead of dodging, Lan Yu struck directly with the knife. The two weapons collided again. Lan Yu sneered, "You are just a fairy, but you dare to fight with me. Die!" The power of qi and blood surged again, blue veins popped up in Lan Yu's arms, and the huge force was directly transmitted to the blade. A click. The newly replaced blade actually had cracks at this moment. But Lan Yu doesn't care. He can have as many ordinary soldiers as he wants. But if you kill Molubuletin here, everything on him will be yours. Thinking of this, Lan Yu worked harder. Snapped. The weapon in his hand shattered. If you don't have a weapon, use your fists. Lan Yu dodged directly to avoid Molubuletin's attack, and all his energy and blood were concentrated on his right fist. Die! This time, the power of qi and blood was activated, mobilizing all the true qi. This punch will be the one that determines Lan Yu's victory. But at this moment, the corners of Molubuletin's mouth rose slightly. Sure enough, the military advisor knows things like a god. A ray of divine power burst out from Demon Lubuletin's Fang Tian painted halberd. What? Divine power? How can it be? How could he, an immortal, activate his divine power? Lan Yu had no time to think, and his fist directly collided with Fang Tian's painted halberd containing divine power. The results are naturally visible. Fang Tian's painted halberd directly cut off Lan Yu's arm. The power of demonic energy and blood are mixed together. Fang Tian drew his halberd and cut off Lan Yu's head directly. This arm is the price for his arrogance. If it is a critical moment, use the yin-yang stone to replace the true energy in the body with divine power. This method can help you gain extraordinary power. The water spout eventually exploded. But Lan Yu was careless and underestimated the enemy, using his mortal body to defeat Molubuletin's Fang Tian Huaji. The divine power in the yin-yang stone was drained, and the yin-yang stone also turned into a plume of fly ash and disappeared. Could it be that both of you are divine beings? If both of them have weapons, the result will be unpredictable. On the other side of Yazhu City, Lu Jin was sorting out the battle reports sent by the Black Guards. This method may be able to deal with ordinary gods and humans, but if we encounter a powerful god-human realm that contains divine power, I will send dragon armor or golden dragon holy soul guards there. Another divine power. With our fusion skills, we can still survive. How can it be? A heavy downpour fell on Lan Yu's body, and at this moment a trace of panic appeared on Lan Yu's face. You are strong, but unfortunately, we are stronger. Molubuletin swung out a blow, directly setting off a tornado on the ground. A strong man in the divine realm who didn't even have divine power met a strong man in the immortal realm who had divine power. When Molubuletin saw that Lan Yu still had a breath, he couldn't help but frown. This yin-yang stone, which contains divine power, is one of the trump cards that Lu Jin gave them. Divine power. A black storm rises around Molubuletin. The tornado encircled the heavy rain and turned into a waterspout in an instant, Swallowing the blue jade whole? Many generals couldn't help but turn pale when they saw this. Yao Daji on the city wall glanced at the yin-yang stone in her hand. Cut. Phew. Lan Yu's body fell to the ground like a broken doll. But at this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded. And at this time, a heavy rain is coming. Ding, congratulations on successfully killing the famous character Feng Lang Jugju. Blue Jade. Here's your reward, a colorful holy grade glory treasure chest. Boom. At this moment, 5 completely different forces, divine power, demonic energy, chi, and blood power, literary energy, and true energy, were intertwined so that Lan Yu had no time to take care of them. Faced with this question, neither Emolu Buletin nor Yao Daji answered him. Divine power explodes. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 238. He looked at the system prompts and the colorful holy treasure chest that appeared in his backpack. The corners of Lu Jin's mouth couldn't help but raise slightly. This result had been expected by him. What about centenary lords? Today's Lu Jin is as good as any century-old lord in terms of background. So what if we live another 100 years? The godhead that Lu Jingguang now possesses is enough to make other centuries-old lords stunned. Seal the wolf to live in the blue jade, the realm of gods and humans. But what about the realm of gods and humans? An existence in the realm of gods and humans without godhead is nothing more than a semi-finished product. Lu Jin has countless ways to easily kill a god-man without godhood on the spot. Putting his thoughts away, Lu Jin turned his attention to the colorful holy treasure box. Taking out the colorful saint-level glory treasure chest, the system's voice rang in his ears. Ding, do you want to spend 2 million gold coins to upgrade the colorful saint-level glory treasure box to the colorful saint-level glory treasure box? Upgrade. Even the gold coins required for upgrading the colorful saint-level treasure chests are much higher than those of the golden legendary level treasure chests. But Lu Jin always believes that as long as you put in the effort, you will get something. Presumably, the upgraded treasure chest will not disappoint you. Lu Jin is very clear about the current situation. He starts a war against Yao Tang. Once this war starts, one person must die before it can end. But if Yao Tang is annexed by himself, will it be over? No. It could have ended. But Yao Tang involved the other 3 dynasties. Xian Qin, Wu Ming, Dao Song. 3 dynasties have entered the vortex of this war. Lu Jin cannot retreat. If he retreats, his vitality will be seriously damaged. Therefore, he can only move forward and keep moving forward. Only after he crushed everything, could he stop to breathe. Born in troubled times, who can protect themselves? Thinking of this, Lu Jin's eyes became particularly sharp. He wants to dominate the world, he wants to dominate the Supreme Being. Ding, congratulations on successfully obtaining the colorful holy level radiant treasure chest. Do you want to open the treasure chest? Open. The treasure chest is open. Following a flash of colorful light, a system notification sounded in Lu Jin's ears. Ding, congratulations on getting the colorful holy level elixir billions of inspiration pills. Ding, congratulations on getting the colorful holy level furnace G Dao self-cultivation furnace. Ding, congratulations on getting the colorful saint level blueprint Hunyuan Xiantian armor. Ding, congratulations on getting the colorful holy grade material original divine beast blood. A series of items entered Lu Jin's backpack. Without exception, these items are all colorful saint level items. There aren't even golden legendary items among them. Lu Jin first set his sights on the elixir. The products produced by the system must be high quality. This is especially true for elixirs. From the immediate saint pill at the beginning, to the billions of inspiration pills now. The pills that come out of the treasure chest are more powerful than the last. It's a pity that with Lu Jin's current theory of elixirs, he can't even analyze the ingredients of these elixirs. Therefore, Lu Jin took out the billions of inspiration pills and checked the specific properties of this pill. Name billions of inspiration pills. Quality colorful holy products. Effect after taking it, you will enter a state of billions of inspiration for an hour. A state of billions of inspiration? This was the first time Lu Jin heard of this state. After thinking for a moment, Lu Jin took the elixir directly. Rather than eating early and eating late, it's better to eat now. The more you can improve your strength, the more likely you are to win. The elixir instantly turned into liquid as soon as it entered his mouth. After Lu Jin swallowed it, warmth began to flow from his internal organs. Eventually all the warmth converged on the top of his head. At this moment, Lu Jin saw a status bar appear in his properties panel. Billions of inspirations, the growth rate of all skills increases by 10,000%. Billions of inspirations, all skill evolution progress increased by 10,000%. Billions of inspirations, the breakthrough speed of all skills is increased by 10,000%. A series of billions of inspiration states made Lu Jin feel dazzled. At this moment, Lu Jin felt that his control over all skills began to become easier. The first is his technique, thunder and lightning. This technique was learned by Lu Jin from the book of typing. It's the feeling of death. Divine thunder technique. Unless Lu Jin uses his divine power to activate the thunder and enhance the properties of the thunder. Lu Jin thought of many things that he had never thought of before, and his thinking became more and more active. But then, something happened that made the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard even more stunned. But this pure white thunder contains extremely frightening energy. But now, all the enemies that Lu Jin can take action against are terrifying beings in the realm of gods and humans. If he were hit by this white thunder, even he would be seriously injured. At the same time, his swordsmanship, divine puppetry, alchemy, and other skills have improved a lot. The pure white thunder jumped like an elf in his hand. It is a long-range strike method. In this short period of 1 hour, Lu Jin practiced his divine thunder technique to the point of mastery. Mobilizing his divine power, Lu Jin directly condensed a divine thunder. Even he was shocked when he saw the white thunder in Lu Jin's hand. A black divine thunder actually made the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard feel a fear coming from their souls. The divine thunder in Lu Jin's hand turned black. It turns out that the current Lu Jin, with the blessing of billions of inspirations, actually began to understand another path from the thunder and lightning. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. But in this case, its effect is not as good as the Xianyuan ancient sword in Lu Jin's hand. Ding, congratulations on your successful understanding of the divine thunder technique. Divine thunders of various colors were constantly changing in Lu Jin's hands like light bulbs. But Lu Jin wasn't done yet, the thunder in his hand changed into different colors. As soon as the black divine thunder appeared, the entire camp began to be enveloped by an extremely depressing aura. But every change made the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard feel fear. Lu Jin's eyes lit up, and he could feel that he was becoming more and more proficient in controlling the thunder. Lu Jin exhaled. Although Lu Jin now only has a demigod cultivation level. This breath made the Golden Dragon Soul Guard feel uncomfortable. In the end, Lu Jin put away the divine thunder, and the joy in his eyebrows was not concealed. This is the powerful effect of systemic elixirs. Can summon thunder to bombard enemies. The Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard next to him couldn't help but feel nervous when he saw this. But he can be sure that if he takes action, the god-human realm without godhood is no match for him. And this thunder will cause minimal damage to beings above the divine human realm. Billions of inspiration pills are indeed a good thing. Each different color of divine thunder contains completely different rules. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, Spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 239. Kung Fu, Magic, Physical Skills, Equipment. It can be said that apart from the fact that my cultivation has not reached the realm of gods and humans, every aspect of my configuration is beyond the scope of ordinary practitioners of the realm of gods and humans. After all, they don't have the temple of time and space to get a lot of practice time. Second, there is no chamber of commerce that collects the world's martial arts. This is Lu Jin's advantage. Lu Jin set his sights on the second item. The ultimate bodybuilding furnace. A 7-color saint-level melting pot. To be honest, Lu Jin didn't have much expectations for the Jideo slimming furnace. A furnace is something that only a blacksmith can use. With Ouyuzi, a professional blacksmith, in charge of his own Longhan, Lu Jin didn't need to study the art of forging at all. The forging technique that he mastered now was just to make the god puppet more convenient. Lu Jin set his sights on the Jideo self-cultivation furnace. When he saw clearly the properties of the Jideo self-cultivation furnace, he immediately understood. I actually misunderstood the system again. Name Jideo slimming furnace. Quality colorful holy products. Effect 1 Nirvana fire, send the item into the Jideo slimming furnace for refining, and there is a chance to improve the quality level of the item. Effect 2 Upgrade and copy, you can transfer any skill, body, or skill to any item through the Jideo slimming furnace to obtain different effects. Effect 3 Batch manufacturing, any items manufactured using the Jideo slimming furnace will be automatically recorded, and the same items can be automatically manufactured in the future. Improve quality, upgrade and copy, and mass produce. These 3 functions alone were enough to make Lu Jin's eyes light up. He looked at Long Jie, who noticed Lu Jin's gaze and reacted immediately. Your Majesty, if you have any instructions, please give the order. Long Jie had the most basic spiritual intelligence, and he immediately understood Lu Jin's look. But Lu Jin didn't say anything and directly took out the Jideo self-cultivation furnace. With a bang, the Jideo self-cultivation furnace appeared in front of Lu Jin. Looking at the huge furnace in front of him, the golden dragon Saint Soul Guard's eyelids couldn't help but twitch. He didn't know why, but this furnace seemed to be inconspicuous, but it exuded an aura that made him feel palpitated. What's the situation? If the previous Divine Thunder technique can still be explained. How to explain this furnace? The golden dragon Saint Soul Guard was puzzled as to why he felt uncomfortable in a furnace. At this time, Lu Jin ordered Long Jie. Go in. Subordinates take orders. Without any hesitation, Long Jie walked directly into the Jideo self-cultivation furnace. The golden dragon Holy Soul Guard watched the dragon armor walk into the Jideo self-cultivation furnace, and he was a little dazed. What is your Majesty doing? Could it be that he is planning to rebuild the dragon armor? But now the dragon armor is already a god puppet in the realm of gods and humans. Even if he has to go back to the furnace and rebuild it, how far can he go to rebuild it? But the next second, the golden dragon Saint Soul Guard's eyes widened. After Lu Jin started the Jideo self-cultivation furnace, the hot nirvana fire directly filled the entire Jideo self-cultivation furnace. In an instant, the dragon armor was swallowed up by the fire of nirvana. At this time, the golden dragon Saint Soul Guard finally understood where his fear of this ultimate cultivation furnace came from. Nirvana fire. Such a terrifying flame has never been seen by golden dragon Saint Soul Palace in his life. This flame can even refine the dragon armor that transforms into a god-human realm. Its power is evident. But the golden dragon Saint Soul Guard didn't say anything. After all, the dragon armor was a puppet created by Lu Jin, and it was his business to deal with it. Just don't reinvent yourself. Lu Jin looked at the operation panel of the Jideo slimming furnace and put his hands on it. Immediately afterwards, an attribute panel suddenly appeared in front of him. Ding, Please choose the skills you want to teach the dragon armored god puppet. Divine Thunder Technique. Or Divine Puppetry. Lu Jin looked at his many skills, and suddenly an inspiration appeared in his mind. If you teach the Divine Puppetry technique to dragon armor through the Jideo self-cultivation furnace, then wouldn't dragon armor be able to make its own god puppets in the future? God puppet makes god puppet. Then use the Jideo self-cultivation furnace to continue teaching. Couldn't this be nesting dolls all the time? Thinking of this, Lu Jin taught the Divine Puppetry and Divine Thunder techniques to Long Jie. Soon, the operation was completed, and the dragon armor began to upgrade in the Nirvana fire. I don't know how long it took, but the fire of Nirvana dissipated. At this time, dragon armor once again appeared in the sight of the golden dragon Holy Soul Guard. Long Jie looked at his body, a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. My physical strength has actually increased. Today, he possesses a large number of skills, and his physical strength has increased more than before. Looking at Lu Jin, Long Jie immediately knelt down in front of Lu Jin. Thank you, Your Majesty. The Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard also noticed the difference in the dragon armor at this moment. The aura exuded by the current dragon armor was stronger than his own. Although the previous dragon armor and him were both in the divine human realm. But he is a living being after all. Although dragon armor has spiritual intelligence, he is still a god puppet. Without Lu Jin's control, its combat power would be reduced by about half. But today's dragon armor is more agile than before, and even the pressure emanating from him is much stronger than before. Thinking of this, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard felt a little regretful. Just after being burned by fire, the dragon armor has improved so much. If I go in and burn it, can I also improve my strength? At this time, Lu Jin put away the Jideo self-cultivation furnace. After testing the function of the Jideo slimming furnace, Lu Jin was very satisfied. Next, we need to focus on cultivating dragon armor. At this time, a black guard rushed in. Reporting to Your Majesty, the Dao Song army and the Xianqin army crossed the border at the same time and attacked towards the capital of Demon Tang Kingdom. The Dao Song army and the Xianqin army. The corners of Lu Jin's mouth rose slightly. It was later than he expected. He thought that the armies of these two dynasties would at least come together with Wu Ming. But now Wu Ming's army has been defeated. If the armies of the two dynasties receive the news, they will definitely be wary. Lu Jin touched his chin and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. In this case, I also want to give a little help to the two troops under my command. Gale, Mo Kailan. Lu Jin called out, and Mo Kailan appeared from the void. Immediately afterwards, strong wind came from outside. Originally, Gale was about to fall on Lu Jin's shoulder, but suddenly saw Mo Kailan's piercing gaze, and it quickly turned around and landed on the desk. Seeing the two monster beasts approaching, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard couldn't help but narrow his eyes. The strength of these two monsters is only at the immortal level. Your Majesty asked them to come, could it be to support the Eastern and Western armies? The existence of two immortal realms may not change the battlefield situation much. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 240. Dai Feng, Mo Kailan, I order you two to go to the east and west battlefields immediately to help our Long Han army. Is it finally time for them to show up? Dai Feng and Mo Kailan suddenly became excited. Especially Mo Kailan, although it is Lu Jin's mount, it also has a warlike heart. However, due to the identity of his mount, it is usually quite docile. But after all, it is the king of the Kailan clan, and its combat power will definitely not be weak. Just when Dai Feng and Mo Kailan were eager to rush to the battlefield, Lu Jin immediately poured cold water on them. Of course, with your current strength, even if you go to the east and west battlefields, it will be difficult to make much change in the battle situation. the Dao Song Xianqin launched a large-scale invasion, and the generals and troops dispatched must be the best among the best. Among them, I don't find anything strange even if they are led by a divine human realm general. Divine realm. Upon hearing these three words, Dai Feng and Mo Kailan immediately lost interest. Although they are ferocious beasts, they are not stupid. Isn't it easy for a general in the divine realm to control them? If there were really divine human realm generals leading the team, they would not have been able to change the situation much in the past. Seeing Dai Feng and Mo Kailan both lowering their heads, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard beside him couldn't help but feel proud. Sure enough, my thoughts coincided with Lu Jin's. Unexpectedly, at this moment, when Lu Jin raised his hand, 2 round drops of blood appeared in the air. The moment 2 drops of blood appeared, the eyes of Dai Feng, Mo Kailan, and the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard burst out with greedy brilliance at the same time. What a rich bloodline scent! This kind of item rich in bloodline aura is tantamount to a fatal temptation for monsters like them. The Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard itself is also transformed from a demon soul, so it is also very sensitive to the blood aura. Lu Jin raised his hand and handed 2 drops of the original beast's blood to Dai Feng and Mo Kailan. You two, one is a peerless monster and the other is the Kailan King. Your bloodline is extremely rich. These 2 drops of the original divine beast's blood can activate the power of your bloodline to the greatest extent. When you absorb the original divine beast's blood, your realm cultivation will inevitably break through and reach the realm of gods and humans. The blood of the original divine beast, a colorful holy level item. This item has a wide range of uses. Use it on Gale and Mo Kailan to stimulate their bloodline to the greatest extent. You must know that they are ferocious beasts and divine beasts, and the power of their bloodline far exceeds that of other monsters. For them, entering the realm of gods and humans is just a matter of time. Lu Jin gave the blood of the original divine beasts to the 2, just using resources to let them enter the realm of gods and humans in advance. Dai Feng and Mo Kailan didn't hesitate at all and directly swallowed the blood of the original beast. In an instant, the blood in their bodies sensed the aura of the original beast's blood. The aura of the blood surged, and their cultivation also began to increase rapidly. Seeing the auras of Dai Feng and Mo Kailan rising continuously, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard next to them could be described as greedy. He also has the blood power of the 5-clawed Golden Dragon in his body, and no monster can resist the temptation of the blood of the original beast. But if I take the initiative to ask for such a precious thing, I am afraid it will arouse His Majesty's dissatisfaction. Sighing secretly in his heart, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard comforted himself. You are already a god human being, so why do you need the blood of the original beast to improve yourself? If you do your job well, His Majesty will naturally reward you. At this time, Lu Jin saw the little thoughts of the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard. He waved his hand, and a drop of the original beast's blood was suspended in front of the Golden Dragon Holy Soul Guard. You are already in the realm of gods and humans, and the effect of the original divine beast's blood is not much improved for you. But because of your merit in guarding, this drop of blood of the original beast will be rewarded to you. What an unexpected surprise! The Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard was even more devoted to Lu Jin. Thank you, Your Majesty, for the reward. Without saying anything else, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard immediately devoured the blood of the original beast. In an instant, he felt that his soul was about to sublimate. His Golden Dragon soul seemed to be aware of the existence of the original divine beast's blood, and began to continuously absorb the original divine beast's blood. The Golden Dragon soul that was originally somewhat illusory actually became more staring. At this time, Lu Jin glanced at the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard and couldn't help but be slightly startled. I saw that the Golden Dragon Holy Soul Guard, who was originally in human form, actually had a pair of dragon horns growing on his head. What's the situation? Why has this started to become a demon? Lu Jin looked at the Golden Dragon Holy Soul Guard. In the end, the Golden Dragon Holy Soul Guard took the lead in absorbing the blood of the original beast. As Lu Jin said, after reaching the realm of gods and humans, he absorbed the blood of the original divine beasts, and his strength improvement was far inferior to that of Daifeng and Mo Kailan. But after all, it has improved a little bit, which is better than nothing. Opening his eyes, the Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard looked at Lu Jin, staring at the top of his head. He touched the top of his head and directly touched 2 dragon horns. Your Majesty, there is no need to worry. This is a manifestation of the improvement of the Golden Dragon Soul in my body, which is beneficial to me. It turns out that Lu Jin thought that his dragon horns were intended to be demonized. If they were demonized, it would still take a lot of effort for Lu Jin to suppress the current Golden Dragon Saint Soul Guard. At this moment, Daifeng and Mo Kailan also upgraded their cultivation to the realm of gods and humans. Although the aura is still a little unstable, it already has enough weight for the battlefield situation. You guys should stabilize your realm on the way to the battlefield. After a few words of instruction, Lu Jin waved his hand. Daifeng and Mo Kailan immediately left Yizhu City and headed for the east-west battlefield. On the western battlefield of the Demon Tang dynasty, the Dao and Song army entered from the border and came directly to the bottom of a city. The leading general wore a black devil mask, and just standing there gave people an invisible sense of oppression. And behind this general, there were only 10,000 people. But without exception, these 10,000 people all wore black ghost faces. Everyone was silent and the military discipline was strict. This kind of behavior alone is enough to show that this is an elite force. Reporting to General Di, we found a city ahead. There was a Long Han flag erected above the city. It must be one of the cities occupied by Long Han. However, according to the observations of my subordinates, the defenders on the city are all a bunch of losers. The defenders' complexion is sallow and the city is lifeless. My subordinates have reason to suspect that this is an abandoned city. After some observation and analysis, the scout quickly concluded that the city was worthless. Even attacking them is a waste of effort. The leader of the Dao Song dynasty, Diqing, immediately made a decision after hearing these words. Ignore the city, we will continue deep into the hinterland. Since it is an abandoned city, even if we pass by the city wall and go deep into the hinterland, they will not dare to fight back.